Hello everyone, in this lesson we're going to be showing you how to make a line plot, which is also known as a dot plot, and you might actually find that that name is a little bit more applicable. So here we have an example one. The ages of 10 people are listed below, and we are going to create a line plot to represent the data. So if I look at this set of data, I see a whole bunch of numbers listed. So the first step that we're going to do is to create a number line with a consistent scale. So what do we mean by a consistent scale? We mean that we can't jump numbers. We're going to have all the important numbers on there more than when we were making number lines for our inequalities. So if I'm looking at this set of data, I'm looking for where does it start? Where's the lowest value? So if I look through the set of data, I see that it starts at 22 and it goes all the way up until 30. So I need my number line to go from there, from the 22 to the 30. So I'll go ahead and I'll start by putting a mark here for 22, 23, all the way up. And so we got 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Great. So now our second step is going to be to place a dot, or sometimes an X, above the number line for each of the values in the set. And by set, we mean the numbers that were listed. So let's go back to our set of data, and the first number is 29. So right above 29, we're going to go ahead and make a point. Now I'm going to actually go ahead and change the size of my marker here to make some nice clean points here. Okay, so there's 29. And then 22 is the next. So when we make the 22, an important thing that we're going to do is make sure it is even in height with the other dot above 29. And then 30, same thing, keep it at the even height. We have 2 at 29. So we'll add another point and another on top. So now we're up to 3 high. A point at 24, 1 at 28, 2 at 27. And so when I make this second dot at 27, I want it to be equally high to the second dot at 29. And then finally another point at 30. And again, that wants to be as equally as high as the other points for 27 and for 29. It's important that we keep these all the same height so that 2 dots don't end up looking higher than 3 dots. So that is really our third step, is to line up the dots to keep the heights consistent. So as we're making line plots, let's don't forget to make a consistent scale. And you do not have to start your scale at 0. Sometimes people want to, but we started right at 22 this time. So you don't have to start at 0. So let's look at a second example. Here we are looking at the ages of an audience at a concert were recorded below. So we're going to create a line plot. So we'll make a nice number line here. So I'm going to look through the data set and find the smallest value, which appears to be 10, and the largest value is 18. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And we'll fill those numbers in there. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and start with our first point, which is 12, and then a 14, and then 13, 11, I'm keeping all of these about the same height, 10, 16, 18. Now we have our first double, so we're up to 13 has a second point there, 12 has a second point, we keep them the same height, 10 as a second point, same height, 10 as a third point, then 14, 2 at 15 here, point at 12, so it's now up to 3 high, keeping it level with the other at 10, and then another at 15, 1 at 18, and another at 15. So now we've covered all the points there and made a nice line plot. So we've made 2 line plots. Let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses of a line plot. Oh, I do forget, we should add really a label. This was the ages of people at the concert. If I gave myself more room, we could write that really below the number line. So ages of people at the concert is important. So one strength of a line plot is that it shows every data value. So that's important if we wanted to add up all the data values and eventually find the mean, or find out, or to count how many, responses there were. Another benefit or strength is that it shows the shape of the distribution. We're going to talk more about the shape of distribution after we look at a few more visuals for that. Another thing, as I kind of mentioned, is we can find the mean or the median from this visual. So we could add up all the numbers and divide by the total number of numbers, or we could just kind of work our way in, crossing off the highest and lowest until we found the middle number. The final benefit, and perhaps the most obvious, is that we can quickly find the mode, the most common number. So from this data, this line plot, we can quickly see that the mode here was 15. What's a weakness? A weakness for this is that it is difficult for very large sets of data. So this must have been a pretty small concert because there weren't too many people that we had to plot points for. Each of those points was an audience member. But if we had a concert of thousands, it would have been really hard to plot all of those points. The other thing that can make it difficult is not only large sets like lots of points, but data values that have a big range. So if we happen to have a concert where people are only from ages 10 to 18, but if they are from ages 2 to 90, that would spread out our data more and make it hard to make a nice consistent scale for our data values.